How's it going, Fish fam? Welcome back or welcome in if this is your first time checking out the channel. I am back. I'm back because I still feel like I don't know enough about One Piece, you know? I'm originally a Naruto fan, have been my whole life. Decades and decades I put off learning about and watching One Piece because I was just like, it's way too long, it's not worth the time, it's not worth the effort. I was wrong about that. And started the YouTube journey a few years ago, learning more about One Piece. And I'm just continuing on with that here today. So, going to be checking out Grand Line Reviews video explaining the world of One Piece.
Fish fam and the Grand Line.
Guess it is.
Factor of the One Piece world for many fans, a continent that circumnavigates the globe? What? And I'm not about to make things any better because in reality it is also one gigantic subscribe button specifically for the Grand Line Review.
Okay, buddy. All right, bro. Listen. If by chance you are watching my videos and you're not subscribed to Grand Line Review, subscribe to Grand Line Review. Original is linked down in the description below. But while you're here, also subscribe to me. Also linked in the description is the link to my original channel where I watch episodes of One Piece and tons of other shows. So go check that out as well.
One who reaches it to receive regular One Piece content uploaded straight into their YouTube feed. And you, my dear viewer, after your long journey of life, have reached it. Enjoy. Hello and welcome to One Piece 101, the series that breaks down everyone and everything in the One Piece world. And today that statement is being taken on a rather grand scale because we're going to be describing
the world
task of breaking down the literal world of One Piece.
The whole
and
world.
This is far from an easy
shout out
thing to delve into
Supernovas
because one of the greatest features of One Piece is its overwhelming mystery and the kind of endlessly expanding landscape before our eyes. However,
just started ripping One Piece packs on stream, trying my best to avoid spoilers, of course, which is always impossible for me, but trying my best by not looking at it too hard. But been ripping some One Piece packs. I also got a starter deck that I've upgraded a little bit, so gonna be playing in some locals pretty soon. I played Magic for like, I don't know, 15 years at this point, but yeah, starting to get into the One Piece TCG as well.
So of the series, we do have a very functioning idea of how this world is structured. And first and foremost, I will begin with the fact that One Piece is indeed set on a planet.
It is set on a planet
that is overwhelmingly dominated by water, much more so than our home of Earth. Or at least I'm assuming that's where most people are watching this video from. If not, feel free to let me know.
Any Plutonians in chat? Neptunians in chat? Hey, that's a good that's a pretty good reference right there, huh? Any Neptunians in chat?
Flat Earth theory and smush this planet in order to begin building it. So the overwhelming majority of the series takes place within one particular stretch of water known as the Grand Line, which circumnavigates the globe. So I suppose just
is the New World technically the Grand Line? We're gonna get into it. Why am I even bothering to ask questions yet?
Unpredictable in terms of weather, thus providing a fantastic location for an exciting pirate-based manga. And at the same time, the Grand Line is populated with potentially hundreds of islands of varying shapes and sizes, some of which could be the area of a small deserted island, whilst others can be the scale of gigantic countries. But in keeping with the fickle weather of the Grand Line, the climate of these islands can vary rapidly, even for relatively
because Drum Island, Alabasta, pretty close to each other.
Being summer, autumn, winter, and spring. With some of your classic examples including Alabasta as a summer nation, Drum Island as a winter wonderland, and Dressrosa as your spring paradise. However, autumn islands tend to be exceedingly rare in this series, so much so that we haven't actually labeled anything as an official autumn island as of yet, although it is fairly widely speculated that Wano would be an autumn island, given that it's hot.
Thriller Bark is kind of an autumn island, right? It's spooky season, no? Autumn is spooky season, right? Thriller Bark is kind of an autumn island. if you think about it, you know? It's kind of an autumn island.
Draped in falling sakura leaves. Wano does bring up the first of many tricky exceptions to the climate classification though, because it happens to be an island that boasts multiple extreme climates, and if you were to take one giant step out of the capital and venture into say Ringo, then you would find yourself in the depths of an island. And then there are also places
Punk Hazard
like
video essay will be on this channel, by the way, not my main channel. I'm gonna starting since I have this channel now where I mostly react to video essay content. I'm gonna start posting my One Piece video essays here because that's something I like to do after I finish an arc. This one I've taken a lot of time to do it. The Fishman Island one, I like thought about it too much and spent way too much time just not posting it once it was done. Punk Hazard one, I've just had a bunch of stuff going on lately and I haven't been able to finish it yet. I've already have it filmed. I just need to edit it.
Which is being perpetually struck by lightning. So there is no really solid classification system at play in this world, and each island will still present its own unique challenges. However, the Grand Line obviously does not exist in isolation, and in order for this stretch of water to be differentiated from the rest of the world, it is deliciously sandwiched on both sides by two thinner stretches of water known as the calm belts. And obviously these lengths of water also circumnavigate the globe, but as opposed to the Grand Line, the weather in this section is, as the name would imply, perfectly calm. Beyond calm, actually.
No tides, no wind.
Because somehow in these sectors of the world there are no winds or sea currents, and everything is pretty perfectly still, making it, of course, incredibly difficult to sail across and actually access the Grand Line, or leave the Grand Line should one so desire. That's far from the most major difficulty of the Calm Belt, though, because it is also the designated breeding area for sea kings, which are the absurdly massive creatures that can be found all over the planet. However, they are highly concentrated in the Calm Belt, meaning that, should you sail into it, your chances of being destroyed or eaten by one are extraordinarily high. That is, of course, unless you are an absolute
Rayleigh
boss,
just swims through oceans.
One of which I'd like to point out being Silver's Rayleigh, the first mate of the former pirate king, who is able to casually swim across the Calm Belt without any fear of sea kings whatsoever.
And we know why
also,
now.
In more modern times,
we know why now.
Developed a method by which to cross the Calm Belt, which involves lining the bottom of their vessels with sea stone, which I suppose apparently repels the sea kings as if they were Zubats in a rock tunnel. In actuality, though, the sea stone just masks the appearance of the ships and renders them, for all intents and purposes, invisible to the senses of sea kings. Now we have one
I thought it was like a repellent.
While the world of One Piece is predominantly composed of islands, it does have one crowning continent which goes smack bang here, known as the Red Line. And it is a particularly long continent by anyone's standards, and just as with the Grand Line and the Calm Belt, it also circumnavigates the globe just along a different axis. And I suppose you could say that the Red Line functions as something of a gigantic wall, because it extends 10,000 meters below sea level right down to the sea floor, and while its exact height is still unknown, it is certainly tall enough to be considered impossible. Which isn't to say it's impossible to do so, because the German Kingdom, for example, have developed a technologically savvy way of climbing the Red Line with their ships, and we have also had at least one example of an individual who has painstakingly climbed up the Red Line, being Fisher Tiger. And he did so in order to get to the one known settlement
climbed the Red Line
the holy land of Marishwa,
with his bare
where the
fins.
world nobles reside and rule over the riff-raff masses from afar. But the existence of the Red Line also has the effect of creating four more distinct bodies of water in the world, which are known as the Four Blues, having been divided into North, South, East, and West Blue respectively. And these probably represent what we would consider average chunks of water that operate very much akin to our real world. There is nothing particularly special or volatile about them, except I suppose you may encounter a sea king on the odd occasion, but otherwise these blues are all quite peaceful and reasonable areas of the planet.
That is where we started out.
By far the most familiar with in the series being East Blue, which is where we commenced our journey with one Monkey D. Luffy in the Goa Kingdom specifically. And it is also the home of iconic locations such as Shellstown, where we found Zoro, Syrup Village, where we recruited Usopp, the floating restaurant of Baratier, where we found our chef guy, Nami's home of Kokoyashi Village, as well as Log Town, where Goldie Roger was executed, and many, many more. As for the other blues, we know very little about.
What's the name of the? Is it just Goa Kingdom? Is that where they were with Sabo and Ace and Dadan? Is that where it was? Is that just the Goa Kingdom? Is that like the larger area, and then Luffy was like in Windmill Village, right? What was
them at this late stage, other than
what was the name of the area they lived in? It was like the Gray something, right? I'm bro. I've watched too much One Piece now. I'm just at this point I've learned too much now. I'm just forgetting stuff.
For example, Nolan and the Luffneel Kingdom were located in North Blue, whilst Port Gasti Ace was born in South Blue, and O'Hara, Robin's home island, was located in West Blue, prior to it being completely and
we don't talk about that.
Is. So they certainly
we don't talk about
great
that.
Importance to the world. And
O'Hara never existed.
However, what tends to
no such
happen
island
is
ever existed. We don't talk about that.
These blues and make names for themselves within the Grand Line. That's problematic though, because with the map as it is now, there is no way to access the Grand Line. line, or any of the other 4 blues actually. For example, if I was to migrate from East Blue, I would either be met with the calm belt or the red line on all fronts, making any form of progress impossible. Before we get to how to overcome this problem though, it's actually very important to completely reshape this map for a second. Now previously I stated that the red line also circumnavigates the globe, which is accurate and wonderful. However, it makes the map that we are viewing incredibly inaccurate. To account for the fact that the One Piece world is a globe, this is a bit trippy, but the flattened map ends up looking a little something like this. Which, just to avoid any potential confusion, because I know it will come up, this does not mean that there are 2 red lines. It is still one continent,
Yeah,
and when
it's a
scrunched
globe.
up into
It's a
ball,
globe,
this map
folks.
will become a flawlessly connected globe. Great.
Sorry
With
to,
that out of the way, it's now time to point out that the Grand
set
Line
any
is not
flat
in fact a
earthers out
singular
there,
stretch
but
of
it is in
water,
fact
and
a
due to the red
globe
line,
in
it
One
is
Piece.
separated into 2 distinct areas, one of which is referred to as Paradise, whilst the other is labeled as the New World. And the reasoning for these names is that, despite how incredibly deadly and unpredictable the Grand Line is in general, the first segment is absolutely nothing compared to that of the second, hence it being known as Paradise by all those who have experienced the truly apocalyptic conditions of the New World. And the New World is also very notably the only area of this planet that is not currently under the direct rule of the world government. Instead, it acts as more or less a lawless territory, primarily under the command of the 4 emperors, who are known as the most influential pirates in this world. But back to how we actually access any of these locations, this is where we introduce the concept of Reverse Mountain, which is a super tall point of the Red Line in which all 4 blues meet, and from which they may enter the Grand Line through the various scattered paths shown here. However, once entering the mountain, you have but one choice, which is to be ejected into the Paradise section of the Grand Line. At which point we encounter another problem, because even if you make your way around to the endpoint of Paradise, you encounter the Red Line again, blocking your path into the New World.
There's only one way.
And unfortunately, getting into the New World is nowhere near as easy
There's only
as
one
Reverse
way.
Mountain, which actually wasn't very easy to begin with, but you basically have 2 options. You either need to somehow get over the Red Line, or you need to go under it, because there is a segment of passage available, a sort of tunnel through the continent if you will, which will take one past Fishman Island. But this is important actually, because now we need to discuss the One Piece world through a different lens, which is height and depth. Up until now, we've mostly been considering
it's a
things from sea
whole
level,
planet.
which in this case is referred to as the blue sea. But the
below
world of One
sea
Piece
level
extends far below and
is
far above this
most
concept.
of the planet.
Firstly, making our way down, once we reach 7,000 meters below sea level, we hit an area known as the underworld of the sea, which is a position so deep that no light from the surface can penetrate it. So it's very spooky, dark, and full of all sorts of terrifying sea life. But then we can go even further down, and at 10,000 meters we hit the sea floor, which is actually known to possess quite an array of civilized life, including the aforementioned Fishman
What
Island.
a good arc,
and in an
man. What a
incredible
good
natural
arc.
phenomenon, light does indeed reach this area of the world via the roots of the sunlight tree Eve, which allows everyone and everything to prosper. But then we can also go in the opposite direction as well and make our way up, and once we've reached 7,000 meters above sea level, we hit the White Sea, which is heavily populated by island clouds, which are allegedly created by a particular element that composes sea stone called pyrobloin, which is a fictional element ejected into the air by volcanic eruptions, and then it binds with water vapor to create clouds of various levels of solidity. Some of them could be sturdy enough to walk on, for example, whilst others could mimic the properties of water and allow vessels to sail upon them. However, most of the more solid clouds are found once we reach the height of 10,000 meters, which is known as the White Sea, which is another layer of sea clouds.
Another good arc. Another good
Skypiea,
arc.
for example,
Hey, I'm
as
showing
well
my
as
boy
half of
Skypiea
Giant
right now.
Island, which
Showing
was
my boy
sent up there
Skypiea
by
right
the
now
Knockup
on
stream,
the
which, speaking
Patreon.
of, the Knockup
Still
stream is thus far the
very
only
far
way that
from
we've
being on
been
YouTube.
capable of reaching the White Sea levels, which is an absurdly dangerous practice and not at all recommended, because apparently there are other much safer ways of traveling to this area, although none of them have been
How
revealed
old is
to
this
us at
video?
the time of this
Out of
recording. But with that,
curiosity.
we have the very basics of the
6 years ago. Do I know of any other ways to get? I don't think I do at this point, right? I don't think I do.
One Piece world, and I would like to emphasize that this is not an exhaustive examination. Every new arc in the series tends to present us with
That is
conflicting
facts.
information regarding the
Every
composition
arc
of this
gives
realm.
us
and even with
conflicting
everything
information.
We do know there is still
That's
an
true.
incredible amount of remaining mysteries, the most prominent of which being where is the hidden island of Laugh Tale, the discovery of which theoretically leads someone to the One Piece and putting them on the path of becoming the next pirate king. And then there's also the entire realm of outer space, which I have decided not to touch on in this video. The rest assured, life definitely exists out there as well. So there is an awful lot left to unpack.
What are you talking about? Life in outer space. What? Are there aliens in One Piece that I just am unaware of still? The fuck? What does he mean there's life in outer space? What? No. Hold on. Are there aliens in One Piece that I just don't know about? Are there aliens in One Piece? Guys, let me know. Let me know. Is that everything that I really should know at this point? Is there any information that I'm still missing that I need to be aware of? I know a lot of you have been telling me I need to check out more of the power system videos from other animes. I do plan on doing that. I just haven't yet, okay? I have a lot of stuff that I plan on watching on this channel in particular. If you do want to make like any suggestions or things like that on videos I should be checking out, I highly suggest you join the Discord. That's where I get a lot of my suggestions. In fact, they put together a whole playlist for me of stuff specifically for Uma Musume to watch. They've helped me put together a whole Google Doc of episodes to watch with Jay when we're going over One Piece stuff. Like, the Discord is very helpful in terms of helping me figure out like what stuff to watch when. So if you really want to help impact stuff, suggest you join the Discord. If you want to see what I'm watching in the most real-time way possible, I suggest you join Patreon or you check out the Twitch streams. But I think that's going to be it for this one. See you guys in the next one. Peace.
Hey, if you like this video, then YouTube says that you'll probably like this video that's on the screen right now. So you can go ahead and hit that video. Look, go ahead. This is one right here.